the previous episode, we created a TODO application. It was a much longer video as usual. This one, I promise it's going to be shorter. We will expand this application and we will store the to-dos in a real file, so it will not be lost after closing the application. And it will be easy because last time we used interfaces alias abstraction. So let's start working on the project. And first, let's look at what we have done last time. I will close the application. First, let's see how it works. So we said go run dot, and we said add I don't know, washing, add reading, and if I say list, it just displays washing and reading. I say add what I want to do, watch TV, and list, and it's also there. If I close the application and run again, and I say list, there's nothing in there. It's lost because it was stored in the memory. Let's see what we have done. Just a quick recap. We created the main Go file which initiates the project. We have an app factory, and this app factory builds the dependencies. We are using here interfaces alias abstractions. The interfaces are defined here. We have a TODO repository which is responsible for listing and adding, and we have a front-end service. We run the front-end service, and we have an app factory which serves the front-end. So that's what we have right now. And because we did it this way, we can like extend it. We created a repository. In the repository's TODO store memory folder, and if you look at the memory folder, it's very simple. We just have a slice, we add the TODO, and we have a list function implemented, and we just return the TODO as a string. And basically that was it. And now we extend this to use files. First thing what we have to do is create another implementation, not a memory, but a file one. So let's create a new folder, call it file, and here the folder is here. Create a new file, call it like file, go. It's automatically named it package file. Okay, let's accept that. And now start implementing func new. And we have to return with our contracts. And that was the TODO repository. Let's create a struct, type service struct, and return this. Return end service and open and close. And as you can see, it's underlined. If I click on this quick fix, it will say declare missing contract methods. I have the two contract methods, the add and the list. Let's implement them, both of them. First, let's start with the add, because this is a little bit more complicated, and to be able to see what we have, we need to add something. So we will use the file capabilities of Golang. So let's implement first the add to do. First thing what we have to do, we have to open a file, and the file has to be opened in the write only mode or create mode if the file doesn't exist. So I will use ha as file handler, and I will say error and OS open file. The OS is the default package automatically imported for us. Then we need a file name, but I will do something tricky here. Because we need the same file name in the list, I will put it in a constant file name, and it should be like data.txt. So let's have the file name. The next one, we need flag or a combination of flag. We can combine flags with a pipe operator character. So I can see that OS write only, and the pipe operator character OS create, And then there is a Linux signature. This is the reading writing mode of Linux. You can search for that online if you're not familiar with it. So you say 0644, for example. Then we have the file handler, created, file opened or created. Let's handle the error. If error not equals nil, then return fmt error f, file cannot be opened or created. And wrap the error as we learned. Error. Yeah, that's all good. The next thing we have to move the handler at the end of the file. So when we add the new line, it will be at the end of the file. So we can do that the following way. We will say error. We already have the error defined, so just an equal, and handler seek. First we need to set an offset. So we want 0 bytes offset from the end of the file, and I think this is the IO package, and end seek end probably returns 2 parameters. Yes, it returns 2 parameters. The first one is the actually where is the pointer, so I'm not using it, so I'm just using this signature. And let's handle the error. It's simple, just same one. Change the description, file pointer cannot be moved to the end. That's all good. The next what we need to do, we have I almost forgot something that's very important, that we do something like defer, handle, close. We always need to close the file, and I use the defer keyword. If we remember the defer keyword, what it does, it will always execute when this function finishes, even though if I have an early return. This return will not be considered because it's before the defer, but this will be. So we make sure that we close the file in every circumstances. Okay, now let's write to the file age write string, and what we need is the to-do, which is the text what we want to store, and we need to add a new line character because we want the next one in the new line, and that's it. And just return nil because everything is perfectly all right. Now let's deal with the list. Let's define first a return string. I can even do a name return, but okay, let's define it. Var result is a string. Then let's open the file. So we use the age air OS, and I just use open. This is a simple version because I don't need to pass any specific parameters, and we already have the file name defined. Let's handle the error. Just copy it from here. I think even the wording is fine for us. Just I need to return nil because I have 2 parameters now, and error if something is wrong. Okay, if we have this, then we need to loop through line by line on the file. We have a package called buff.io. This is what we can use to loop through on the file. What we will do, we will create a scanner equals buff.io new scanner. And let's put file, I mean the handler, in there. So we can use scanner scan for scanner scan. What it does, it tries to scan the next line. If no more lines, then it will just say false, and my loop will terminate. If an error happens, it will also terminate. We have to handle that we will do it as well. Almost forgot something important again. Defer h close. We have to close the file when all done. And we can use scanner text, put it into a line. I think it doesn't return anything else, just a test, yeah. Then let's say result equals append result plus line. So we will just put into our result the lines. If all good, then all good. If not, we have to handle that as well. And we say if error scanner error, and this error is not equals now nil, then we return nil and the error. If everything is fine, we just return the error. I'm in nil, I'm in the result, and nil. So we are ready with the implementation, but it's still not working. It's not working because we have to wire in. So this is when we go back to our factory class. So let's go back to our factory class and search for what we have done. We have done something like memory new in the init function. We can change it. What I will do, I will move out, I will create another function which will call a app and init storage. And this init storage will be a little bit different. So we will say switch OS not OS args, but OS getenv. I will explain what is this, and let's call that storage. And if this storage is file, then move this line here. It has to be at the end. And if the storage, that was the memory. Let's use small case. If it's file, then we need to have a file new. Both of them are implementing the same interface, so I can assign both, any of them, to the TODO repository interface, which I defined here. And let's say default. If none of them is okay, let's panic our application and say cannot initiate storage, use env variable storage with values file, or what else we had, memory. Yeah, let's fix the typo and put the init app store initiation here. Init storage. This is the real factory what we done. So the application will decide according to the Linux environment which implementation to use. Let's see what happens if I say go run. If I say go run, I have an error, and the error says it should be cannot initiate storage because the environment variable is not set. We can set in a Linux environment variables different ways. We will later learn about the package, so we can create a .env, but right now we will set it manually with the Linux. So if I say export, we called it storage equals memory, and I start the application again, then I still have a problem. the same problem. Storage, let's try again. Not memory, but memory. Let's try again, and it runs. Add hello, add hello with double L, list. It works. Close, run again, and list. It's empty, it's not stored. Let's change it to file. Let's run again and say list, and there's an error because we don't have the file, so we have to add something first. Add hello, add wash, add list. You can see the data.txt is created, everything is there as we wanted. If now we say list, it's everything's there. Let's close it, open it up, say list, everything is there, and I can add new item 1, add new item 2. You can see on the top it's adding the items, list, and it's all there. So this is how we swap over between the two implementation. That's it for today's episode. In the next episode we will see a tool which I've created, but there are many other tools like that, which we'll call it migrator. And this migrator tool will help us create database in a very well managed way. It's used on corporates, bigger companies, smaller companies, so you can like keep your database states correct every time, identical to a test environment, your live environment for your tests, which will learn later. This is the next episode. We will take a look at this tool, how we're creating database migrations, and how we will create a local database with Docker. And if we are done with this, then the next step will be spin up a third kind of implementation, which will store the data into a real database. So see you in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe, and bye.